Mr. Cole, are we set up?
Are we ready?
I gotta get the live stream. All our millions of fans and followers.
Did we watch the live stream?
Yeah, I'd like to see the stats
Right here, okay?
on
Thanks.
the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
See how many people tune in.
We'll start getting endorsements.
Right, yeah.
We could be influencers.
We're right back to this short commercial break.
All right, I'll call us to order. We'll start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Mr. Hodge, would you take the roll, please?
All right, Jesse Parker, Mike Stewart's, Robert Stone Street,
Here?
Jared Tolley,
Here?
Tony Hodge, here. And then we have Richard Bohm
Here.
as an alternate. So we have a quorum.
All right. Well, item 4 on the agenda is action on the September minutes. It's hard to believe it's been that long. But the September minutes, which are, I think, in front of everyone. And I would entertain a motion on those minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second?
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. The minutes are approved. All right. Item 5, citizen concerns. Are there any citizen concerns that, I don't see anybody here to present any, but is anybody aware of any that have been made to the office? With that, we'll move to the public hearing. Well, before that, actually, we're here to consider, or the next agenda item is the Fat Bottom Development LLC application for a special use permit. Does any member of the board have a conflict?
No.
All right, with no conflicts, we'll proceed with the public hearing. All comments should be directed to the board. Please request to be recognized by me prior to public comments. And before making comments, please be sworn in. Step to the microphone, adjust it, and state your name and address. The board will hear testimony from each applicant and their expert witness or witnesses. Each speaker from the public will be allowed to speak once, and the comment time will be limited. Public hearing is held to receive comments and is not a forum for debate.
Okay. Good evening. We're going to review a request by Fat Bottom Development LLC for a special use permit to allow a laydown yard on property located at 16757 Winfield Road, identified as tax map 172 parcel 4, which is zoned C2 high density commercial. Attachment A is the application and disclosure statement submitted on February 27, 2026, included for your review. The property was formerly developed and operated as a golf course and is currently improved with a single-family dwelling. Additionally, the site is being used for the placement of construction equipment and materials. Attachment B is photographs of the subject property. The first image is the entrance from 817 with a storage shed to the left and storage trailers to the right. The second photo is a closer view of that entrance. The following images show the storage trailers and construction-related equipment and materials being stored on site. As shown in the last photo, the property contains a single-family dwelling. These images reflect the current condition of the property and the general layout of the area being utilized. Attachment C is paper clipped together because it's long. It's the lease agreement between the property owner, Linville Enterprises Golf LLC, and the applicant, Fat Bottom Development LLC. The laydown yard is associated with a water and sewer pipeline project and future development of the property and is to remain in place until completion of those infrastructure improvements. Attachment D is a copy of the zoning map showing the subject parcel and surrounding properties. Adjacent properties in yellow are zoned R1, single-family residential, and consist primarily of undeveloped woodland and farmland. Parcels in blue are zoned IOP, Industrial Office Park, and include the US 35 right-of-way and additional undeveloped land. The nearest residence not on that property is approximately 1,500 feet to the southeast of the laydown area. Attachment E is a reduced copy of the preliminary site plan submitted by the applicant for your reference. The following image is the plan zoomed into that portion of the property which contains the laydown yard. In attachment F, the applicant has provided written responses addressing the general considerations for special permit use as outlined in Article 1100.05 of the zoning ordinance. The subject parcel is partially located within the FEMA 100-year floodplain. However, the laydown yard area itself is outside of the mapped floodplain. Attachment G includes Chapter 5 of the Putnam County Comprehensive Plan as referenced in Article 1100.01 of the zoning ordinance. It is important to note that should the special use application be approved, the applicant will be required to obtain all applicable permits and undergo engineering review to demonstrate compliance with the development standards for laydown yards as set forth in Section 1700.17H of the zoning ordinance, which is included as Attachment H. No variances have been requested as a part of this application, and to date, staff has received no public comments. Public notice requirements have been met. The request was advertised in the Hurricane Breeze. Notices were mailed to surrounding property owners within 250 feet, and a notice was posted on site. At this time, the board should consider the request in relation to the general considerations for special permit uses in Article 1100.05, which are the criteria on the special permit worksheet that's included in your packet, and to which the applicant's response can be found again in Attachment F. Page 12 of your packet includes the factors that may be considered in evaluating those general considerations as suggested in Section 1100.06 of the zoning ordinance. This hearing is made pursuant to the authority granted to the Board of Zoning Appeals under West Virginia State Code Chapter 8A-8 and the Putnam County Zoning Ordinance articles included in your packets. I'm available for any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Any questions?
Yes, this is zoned C2 industrial, right?
High-density commercial.
So, high-density commercial. So what is it about the activity that they're doing or going to do that needs the special use permit? What's outside of the current approved activity?
Yeah, so the use of the property zoned C2 high-density commercial is listed under the special permit uses, which requires the Board of Zoning Appeals approval to issue a permit to use the property for that.
For the laydown?
For the laydown yard,
Oh, that's
yes.
specifically stated there in the reg, or the ordinance?
Yes, in the list of permitted uses, it's under special permit uses.
Okay. All right. And this is proposed to be temporary, right?
Yes.
All right.
Any other questions? Mr. Sheldon?
Could I get your name, please?
Matt Shelton,
Shelton?
that's correct.
Okay. Will you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Matt Shelton. I'm with New River Engineers. I'm representing Fat Bottom Development for the proposed laydown yard. As Jordan spoke, we are trying to develop the laydown yard. This is going to be a temporary solution. We are in planning stages to develop this property further once the infrastructure from the sewer project that the Putnam PSD is currently designing. We're We're looking at probably a year or two at most for that to go through, at which point the laydown yard will no longer exist.
This is residential development or commercial or?
We're planning commercial on part of the property, which is abutting Route 35, which, you know, that's, as you know, the golf course, it raises up to the level of Route 35 there. On the golf course portion where the laydown yard is being proposed, we are currently in design for some residential subdivision,
Okay.
at which point we'll go through all the permitting. We're not there yet. There's no point in designing it until we have utilities.
Fair enough.
Any questions?
No, you took my question.
Sorry.
Mr. Sheldon, in our packets, there's a letter dated March 5, 2026, and I think you signed.
That's correct.
And in that letter, you address each of the criteria that we will address in considering the special use permit. It's attachment F if you need a specific reference. If we were to ask you the questions posed in that letter, would your testimony on the record today be consistent with this letter of March 5, 2026?
That's correct.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Thank you very much. Well, to keep things moving, I'll move that we adopt as our factual record the information contained in our packet, as well as the testimony and the report from staff that we've heard today.
Just as a point of order, Mr. President, I would suggest we close the public hearing and then do that, so we can
Let's,
have any more potential evidence.
Agreed. Let's close the public, before we close the public hearing, let me state on the record that there is no one from the public here in the room tonight. So with that, I will close the public record and now make a motion to adopt our factual record as the information contained in the packet, as well as the testimony that we've heard today.
Are you moving or asking for a motion? Either one?
Take your poison. Take your poison.
I'll take Tony's motion. I'll second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, with 3 ayes, we will adopt that as our factual record. All right, so we've got a handful of criteria to address. I think we should run through those and discuss them as needed. As I said, the applicant included a letter which has been adopted as sworn testimony tonight. So let's walk through each of those criteria and have a discussion to the extent anyone would like to have that discussion. The first criteria, the use will not discourage the development or impair the value of the surrounding and adjacent land and use district or districts.
Mr. President, I would suggest that paragraph A of the March 5th, 2026 letter would lead me to find that to be true. And for what it's worth, that statement will be the same for the rest of the criteria set forth in our worksheet.
That's a fair point, a fair way to go about it. Does anyone have a view different than the view Mr. Stone Street just expressed?
I'm in agreement.
I'm in agreement.
All right. Does anyone believe, based upon that factual record and what we've heard today, that any of the criteria would any of you mark false on the criteria that is listed in our packet?
I would not find any of them to be false.
Okay. Well, I think findings of fact that support our decision, I think that's the record, particularly the March 5, 2026 letter, which has been adopted as Mr. Shelton's sworn testimony this evening. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve those findings of fact?
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
With 3 ayes and none opposed, that will be those will be our findings of fact.
Mr. President, based on those findings of fact, I would move that we approve the application as submitted, subject to any of the conditions that staff has proposed to be imposed on the approval. If there are any.
There's no, you all are not recommending any conditions, are you?
As they go through the permitting process
Oh,
in the
I'm sorry, I'm
office,
sorry.
they will have to meet the conditions set forth in the zoning ordinance for the C2 area and for the specifics of the laydown yard development.
Okay, so, Mr. Stone Street, as I understand your motion, it is to approve subject to the four conditions, which are a fully engineered site plan and accompanying documentation compliant with the zoning ordinance, design proposal, and development permit application shall be submitted to the Office of Planning and Infrastructure for review by the staff and the county's engineer. 2, compliance with development standards for a laydown yard set forth in section 1700.17H of the zoning ordinance. Number 3, all other specific conditions required by the Board of Zoning Appeals, including any applicable factors of section 1100.06. And 4, the appropriate development permit application zoning fees will apply upon the granting of a special permit use by this board.
That is accurate.
That understanding of Mr. Stone Street's motion?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
With 3 ayes, the special permit is approved. Anyone like to move to authorize me as president to execute the order?
Second.
There you go.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are passed now. Right. Staff report.
Staff report, so you guys did the election? Okay.
Well, no, we have not. Is that on here?
Well, you did create the nominating committee at the last meeting of 2025, so for the bylaws, you have to elect officers at the first meeting of 2026.
All right.
Okay. Well, I will turn it over to our chair of the nominating committee, Mr. Hodge.
Okay. So after extensive thinking and deliberation, I've come to the conclusion to nominate Jared Tolley as the president, Robert Stone Street as the vice, and Tony Hodge as the secretary.
That is an esteemed group of individuals.
That's a good group. Following Mr. Hodges' extensive research, does anyone like to second his motion?
I'll second that motion.
All right, motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. That is, we will continue as we have. Anything else?
Our next meeting is May 14th, where we do have an agenda item. We'll be hearing another special permit use for an off-site parking lot.
So that's confirmed.
Yes, it is.
All right.
May 14th.
Okay.
Okay. Any unfinished business?
Nope.
New business? I will dispense with protocol, and I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.
All right.